All right, so you're ready for a deep dive today?
We are?
And this time,
Yeah.
we are going to do it on ethical hacking.
All right, ethical hacking.
Yeah, so you've got your notes, you've got some excerpts and all that ready to go, right?
Yep, all set.
Okay, so this is,
Should be a fun one.
yeah, this is going to be like a crash course in cybersecurity.
Yes.
But like from the perspective of the good guys.
Yeah.
Who think like the bad guys.
Exactly.
Right.
It's always about, trying to stay one step ahead. They're thinking like the bad guys are thinking.
Right, so you have to know how they think before you can even protect yourself from them.
Exactly, and trying to anticipate
Yeah.
what their moves might be.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at your notes here, and I see we've got stuff on different types of hackers.
Oh, yeah. Got to know your hackers.
It's like white hat, black hat, gray hat.
Oh, yeah. The whole spectrum.
What is that all about?
So your white hat hackers are the good guys, like us. They're using their skills for good to help organizations improve their security.
Right.
Find vulnerabilities before the bad guys do.
Like a digital Robin Hood kind of.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And then you've got your black hat hackers.
The baddies.
Those are the baddies, yeah. The ones who are, breaking into systems for malicious purposes, like stealing data, disrupting services.
Right.
And then in between, you've got this kind of gray area, the gray hat hackers.
Oh, interesting.
Who might operate, in a legally ambiguous way. Sometimes they might find vulnerabilities and disclose them responsibly, but sometimes they might exploit them for personal gain.
Okay, so they blur the lines a little bit?
Yeah, they blur the lines a little bit. So it's
Okay.
a whole spectrum of motivations and tactics.
Okay, so I mean, that sounds like they're like the outlaws
Yeah, you could think of them that way. Yeah.
of the hacker world.
Yeah.
So you've got the good guys, the bad guys, and then the guys who are kind of
Yeah.
in between.
The Wild West of the internet.
Yeah. All right, so I see another note here about penetration testing.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
What
This is where the fun begins.
is that all about?
So basically, it's like a simulated cyber attack.
Okay.
Ethical hackers, they're hired to test the security of a system. So it could be a website, a network,
Right.
whatever. And they use the same tools and techniques that a black hat hacker would use, but they do it with permission.
Right.
And the goal is to find and fix vulnerabilities before the bad guys can exploit them.
So it's like a controlled
Oh,
environment to
yeah.
see where the weaknesses are?
Yeah, it's like a controlled experiment.
Right. Okay.
You're trying to break in to see if you can.
Right.
And if you can, then you need to fix that.
Okay. So I see you've also got like black box, white box, and gray box. What are those?
Oh, yeah. Those are different approaches to penetration testing. So black box is like going in blind,
Oh, yeah.
You don't have any prior knowledge about the system you're attacking.
So you're just going in and trying everything.
Yeah, exactly. You're just trying to figure out how it works and how to break it.
Okay.
White box is the opposite. You have full knowledge of the system, the code, the infrastructure.
This is like you have a map
Yeah, exactly.
of where to go.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then gray box is kind of in between.
Okay, so it's like you have a little bit of knowledge, but not everything.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Like you might know some of the IP addresses or some of the technologies being used,
Oh, okay.
but you don't have the complete picture. So
Okay.
it's a matter of how much information you have going into it.
Right. So it's kind of like easy, medium, and hard.
Yeah, you could think of it that way. Yeah.
Like if you're choosing a difficulty setting on a video game.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. All right. So moving on here, I see a bunch of notes on web application security.
Oh, yeah, that's a huge area.
And this OWASP top 10 vulnerabilities.
Yes.
Uh,
The OWASP Top 10.
what is that all about?
So OWASP, it stands for the Open Web Application Security Project. It's a nonprofit organization that focuses on improving the security of web applications.
Okay.
And they publish this list of the top 10 most critical web application security risks.
Okay. So it's like the top 10 things that hackers are going to try to exploit.
Yeah, exactly. It's a great resource for developers and security professionals to understand the most common vulnerabilities and how to prevent them.
Okay. So what are some of the things that are on that list?
Well, some of the big ones are SQL injection,
Okay.
cross-site scripting XSS,
Okay.
and cross-site request forgery, CSRF.
Go to those.
So SQL injection, that's basically when an attacker can manipulate the code behind a web application
Okay.
to gain access to the underlying database.
Okay.
So for example, if you have a website with a search bar
Right.
and you're not properly sanitizing the user input,
What does that mean?
sanitizing the input means like making sure that the user isn't entering any malicious code
Okay.
along with their search query.
Okay.
So if you're not doing that, an attacker could potentially enter some SQL code into that search bar.
Oh, so it's like using the search bar as a weapon.
Yeah, basically.
Oh, wow.
And they could extract sensitive data from your database,
Okay.
like user credentials, credit card information, all sorts of stuff.
So it's like they're unlocking the treasure chest
Yeah,
of data just by using a simple search.
it's a very common vulnerability,
Oh, wow.
and it can be very dangerous.
Okay, so what about cross-site scripting?
So cross-site scripting XSS, that's another big one. That's basically when an attacker injects malicious code into a website
Okay.
that's then executed by other users who visit that website.
Okay, so it's like you're visiting a website and you don't know that there's this hidden code.
Yeah, exactly. It could be hidden in a comment section, a forum post,
Right.
anywhere that users can input data.
Oh, wow.
And when you visit that page, your browser executes that malicious code.
Okay.
And that could do all sorts of nasty things like steal your cookies.
Your cookies?
Yeah, your browser cookies.
What do those do?
So cookies, they store information about your browsing session, like your login credentials, your preferences.
Okay.
So if an attacker can steal your cookies, they can basically impersonate you
Oh, wow.
and access your accounts.
So it's like leaving a copy of your keys
Yeah, exactly.
on the website for someone to just take.
Yeah, it's a very common way to steal user credentials.
Oh, wow. Okay, so what about that CSRF thing?
Oh yeah, cross-site request forgery, CSRF.
Yeah.
That's a bit more complex, but basically it exploits the trust that a web application has in a user's browser.
Okay.
So let's say you're logged into your online banking account
Okay.
and you click on a malicious link that's been sent to you.
Okay.
That link could contain a hidden request.
Okay.
That when you click on it, it submits a request to your bank to
Okay.
do something like transfer money out of your account.
Without you knowing.
Yeah, without you even realizing it.
Oh, wow.
Because your browser is still logged into your bank, it trusts that request and it executes it.
Oh, wow. So it's like it's hijacking your existing connection
Exactly.
to do something bad.
Yeah, it's exploiting the trust that's already there.
Wow. Okay, so all of these things, it seems like it's all about trust
Yeah, a lot of it is about trust.
and where we place our trust online.
Exactly. And how that trust can be exploited.
Yeah, and how easily that trust can be exploited.
Yeah.
Wow, this is kind of scary.
It can be, yeah. But that's why it's important to be aware of these vulnerabilities so
Yeah.
you can protect yourself.
So speaking of protecting yourself, we need to talk about social engineering.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
Because this is where it's not even about the technology anymore. It's about,
This is about human psychology.
yeah, tricking people.
Exactly. It's about manipulating people into doing things that they shouldn't do,
Right.
like giving up their passwords or clicking on malicious links.
So what are some of the ways that they do that?
Well, one of the most common techniques is phishing.
Phishing.
Yeah. So that's basically when an attacker sends you an email or a text message that looks like it's from a legitimate organization,
Okay.
like your bank or your email provider. And they try to trick you into clicking on a link or opening an attachment
Okay.
that then installs malware on your computer or steals your credentials.
Wait.
And they're getting really good at making these emails look very convincing.
So you might not even know that it's fake.
Yeah, exactly. You might think it's really from your bank, and you click on the link without thinking twice,
Oh, wow.
and then bam, you're infected.
So how can we protect ourselves from that?
Well, one of the best things you can do is to be very skeptical of any unsolicited emails or text messages,
Okay.
especially if they're asking you for personal information.
Right.
Never click on a link or open an attachment unless you're absolutely sure that it's from a legitimate source.
Okay.
And if you're ever unsure, you can always contact the organization directly.
To verify.
Yeah, exactly, to verify that the email is real.
Okay, so always double check.
Always double check.
All right, so another thing I see here is spear phishing. What's that all about?
So spear phishing, that's a more targeted form of phishing, where the attacker has done some research about you.
Right.
They might know your name, your job title, your interests.
Oh, wow.
And they use that information to craft a very personalized email that's more likely to trick you.
Oh, so they're making it seem like it's coming from someone you know or trust.
Yeah, exactly. Or like it's something that you would be interested in.
Wow, that's scary.
It's very effective because
Yeah.
it's harder to spot the signs of a fake email when it's so personalized.
Okay, so be extra careful.
Be extra careful, yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's also phishing.
Phishing.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
like phishing, but over the phone.
Okay.
So an attacker might call you pretending to be from your bank or the IRS,
Okay.
and they try to trick you into giving them your personal information.
Over the phone.
Yeah, over the phone.
Wow, so they're really stepping up their game.
Yeah, they're getting very creative.
Okay, all right. So let's talk about the future of all this.
Oh, yeah.
And this AI thing that you have here.
The rise of the machines.
Yeah, is AI going to be like our savior? Or is it going to be our downfall when it comes to cybersecurity?
Well, it's kind of a double-edged sword.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
so on the one hand, AI can be a powerful tool for defenders.
Okay.
It can help us analyze massive amounts of data to detect anomalies and threats.
Okay.
It can automate security tasks and respond to incidents much faster than humans can.
Okay.
So in that sense, it can be a huge asset.
Okay.
But on the other hand, attackers are also using AI.
Oh, of course they are.
Yeah, they're using it to automate their attacks.
Right.
They're using it to personalize their phishing campaigns.
Okay.
They're even using it to create deepfakes.
Deepfakes.
Yeah, deepfakes. Those are videos that are manipulated to make it look like someone is saying or doing something that they never actually did.
Oh, wow.
And they're getting very realistic.
So it's like you can't even trust what you see anymore.
Yeah, it's getting harder and harder to tell what's real and what's fake.
Wow. So it's like AI is giving both sides a boost.
Yeah, exactly. It's an arms race between the good guys and the bad guys.
And who's going to win?
Well, that's the big question.
Yeah.
It's going to be an ongoing battle.
Okay, so another thing I see here is cloud computing
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
and the Internet of Things,
The IoT.
the IoT.
Yeah, these are both huge areas of growth, but they also present new security challenges.
Okay, how so?
Well, with cloud computing, you're basically storing your data and applications on someone else's servers.
Right.
So you're trusting them to keep your data secure.
Okay.
And if those servers are compromised, then your data is at risk.
Right.
And with the IoT, you're connecting all sorts of devices to the internet, like
Yeah.
your thermostat, your refrigerator, your car.
Yeah, pretty much everything these days.
Yeah, pretty much everything. And each one of those devices is a potential entry point for an attacker.
Right.
So it's creating this massive attack surface.
So it seems like the more connected we get,
Yeah.
the more vulnerable we become.
In some ways, yes.
Okay, so before we wrap up, we really need to talk about the legal and ethical side of all this.
Oh, yeah, that's crucial.
Because there are laws about this stuff, right?
Oh, absolutely. Ethical hacking is not just about technical skills.
Right.
It's about operating within a strict legal and ethical framework.
So you can't just go around hacking into things, even if you have good intentions.
No, you can't.
Okay.
There are laws that govern what you can and cannot do.
Okay, so what are some of those laws?
Well, in the U.S., one of the main laws is the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act.
CFAA.
The CFAA, yeah, and that basically makes it illegal to access a computer system without authorization.
Okay, so you have to have permission
You have to have permission.
to hack into something.
Yes, even if you're doing it for good.
Okay,
And then there are also regulations like GDPR.
the General Data Protection Regulation.
Yeah, that's a European Union law that focuses on data privacy and protection.
Okay.
And it has implications for ethical hacking because it places restrictions on how you can collect, store, and use personal data.
Okay, so it's all about respecting people's privacy.
Exactly.
Okay, so it seems like ethical hackers have to walk a very fine line.
They do, yeah. It's a delicate balance
Okay.
between using their skills for good
Right.
and staying within the bounds of the law.
Okay, so you got to be like a digital superhero.
Yeah, kind of.
You have all these powers, but you have to use them responsibly.
Exactly.
Wow, so we have covered a lot of ground here.
We have a lot of notes here.
Yeah, a lot of notes, and we've talked about different types of hackers and penetration testing.
Web application security, social engineering.
The future of cybersecurity, the legal and ethical considerations.
Yeah, we really went deep.
Yeah, we really went deep, but we've only just scratched the surface.
Oh, yeah. There's so much more to explore.
Yeah, so dear listener,
Yeah.
I want to know what sparked your curiosity.
Yeah. What intrigued you the most?
Yeah, what really caught your attention?
What are you going to dive deeper into now?
Yeah, because this is just the beginning. Your exploration starts now.
Go forth and hack ethically.